Now we are following and monitoring the athletes in so many ways. We are looking at their heart rate and heart rate variability, so many parameters. And there is one important aspect telling about the kind of health and the recovery of the athlete that sometimes gets missed. And this is the period. So it's important.
Sportswomen are fully aware that periods can influence their performances and trainings, yet there is still often a taboo around talking about it or confronting the trainers on the subject. Even more so when period goes missing.
I'm fully aware that some of the coaches of a older generation or from cultures where it's not typical to talk about it may feel it's very awkward or very difficult.
It should be important that especially young girls are not embarrassed to tell a male coach, hey, I feel really tired today or I got cramps in my stomach. Maybe I can do the interval tomorrow.
I think the most important thing is to have a foundation of trust with athletes. And for me as female coach, maybe it could be a little bit more easier, but I think it's also possible for male coaches.
The most important thing is, by my side, is to speak, to be conscious on what's happening in women's body. Because if a coach knows, you can adjust, you can try to develop the best training program for the athletes, and that's for me the best important thing.
It should be just normal, like, hey, my ankle hurts.
That guarantees maybe a little bit that athletes talk about their feelings, especially in this special time of the month.
One of the most important reasons why talking about it is key is that every woman experiences these days in a personal way and therefore needs a tailor-made solution.
Some people feel that they actually cannot perform at their best when they are having the period. But there are of course symptoms like pain, cramps in the stomach, feeling depressed or down or moody or bad mood, which can affect the performance.
My athletes know that we adapt planning daily when they have problems, when they feel not possible to do the planned training.
If you feel not ready to an hard session, for example, you can skip it. Because if you are going to do such a strong effort and you are not feeling comfortable in your mind, probably it's better to skip.
Yet, even to date, there is a certain coyness when it comes to talking about women's period. But it feels like a taboo that we should break.
It's part of our normal physiology, so there is no taboo about it. It should be okay to talk about it.
To have a female coach, it really helps. It's much easier and she knows the problem and she's been an athlete too.
And I think most of the athletes feel that this is one important part of my bodily functions. And I want to talk about it because it's important.
Like also with Armin Auchenthaler, we had a person who we could talk about it and it didn't feel embarrassing or wrong.
For me, the most important thing is to learn about it, because you have to understand how the body works and how the mind of the athletes could work about it.
And I think there are athletes out there who actually have a bad performance in a race and they don't dare to tell why.
There it should be possible that you can say, totally normal, hey, I got my period today. It was really hard.
But it is not just about these days of the month and the consequences they have on the body. When the period is missing, it is also a sign that something is not well.
The most common misbelief is that when women train really hard and well, they may kind of lose their period, and it's an old-fashioned belief that that's a good sign of good training. We now know that it's a sign of a hormonal imbalance, which comes from too much training or too little energy, and that can lead to actually bad restitution, bad recovery, and even a smaller response to the training. So actually the training doesn't work so well.
When there is, when you don't have period anymore, then it's really a big problem. And you should talk about it, but I think then you need help from doctors and figure out what's the problem behind.
Sometimes a high-level stress, for example, the world champs, is a typical reason why the stress can cause the period to disappear, so then you can just look and okay, I'm in a stressful period, maybe my period comes back, but after 3 months you should be talking to a physician.
With times changing and more awareness around this topic, as well as a culture of training that started to focus more on the specifics of women, we hope that coaches and athletes will feel more comfortable talking about period and its impact.
The last part of advice is that in the year 2024, you don't have to suffer from terrible pain or cramps. It can be help. So there is a lot of help. Talk to a physician.